Okay, okay, nice. So we'll wait just a little longer to give a few more people time to join us. For those joining for the first time, this meetup is streamed live on both Zoom and YouTube. So we are welcoming people from all over the world. And that's also why we use UTC for our schedule. I'm joining from Japan today, and it's already evening here. How about you? Where are you joining from today? If you like to, please share your location in the chat. I always enjoy seeing how global this group is. And feel free to drop a quick message and about how you are feeling today too. So we'll be starting the opening in about 1 or 2 minutes. So please stay with us. Nairobi. Nairobi. Wow, so far. Oh, Ghana. Oh, got 1 p.m. Nice. VJ. Oh, Korea, Copenhagen. Nice. Jacob from Copenhagen. Nice. Mm-hmm. Ah, Christmas spring already. Yes, 10 a.m. Mhm. Oh, good morning. Copenhagen, 2 p.m. Oh, no. Oh, makes sense. Nice. Nairobi, time of Kenya, 4 p.m. Good time. Nice. Hi, Kilian. Oh, indeed. Yes, 6. Yes, different half hours. Nice. All right. All right. Let's get started. So first of all, thank you so much for being here today. So I'm really happy to spend this time together with all of you. So, and to our speakers, thank you as well. So we totally appreciate you being here and taking the time to share your stories with us. So we have a great lineup today with speakers bringing different experiences and perspectives from around the world. I'm really looking forward to hearing from each of them. So even if it's just one small moment or one idea, I hope today inspires you, sparks you curiously, or helps you make a new connection. And of course, so please feel free to join the conversation. So share your thoughts, drop your social links, or simply say hello in the chat. This is Global Meetup, so let's keep the atmosphere warm, open, and welcoming. So, Uh, I started this community with the hope of bringing people together, not only those who care about AWS, but also those who care about each other. So now I co-organize this community with Yuki, and we are always happy to welcome anyone who would like to get involved. So, if you were interested in helping out or just want to be more connected with the community, so please feel free to reach out to us. So let's keep growing this community together. And uh, now let me walk you through today's lineup. So we have four wonderful speakers joining us today. David, Kevin, Jacob, and Axel. So they will be presenting in this order. So they are joining us from different countries and from different time zones around the world, you know, so which really shows how global this community is. So each speaker bring their own stories, ideas, and cultural backgrounds, and I'm sure you'll enjoy hearing their perspectives. Each session will be around 20 minutes, followed by the short quick Q&A. So if you have questions or comments during the talks, please feel free to drop them in the Zoom chat at any time. We'd love to hear from you. So we'll follow the order shown on the slides, and the full session will run for about 2 hours, around 2 hours. So please stay with us as much as you can. There's a lot to enjoy all the way through. So let's give our speakers warm welcome. I'm truly happy to have all of you here as part of this global community. So, and to our speakers, thank you so much for your time and for sharing with us today. And before we move on, I have a quick note for everyone joining us today. So this meetup is streamed on both Zoom and YouTube. So please feel free to choose the platform that works best for you. So if you are joining us on Zoom, you are welcome to use the chat at any time. Whether it's question, reaction or something you'd simply like to share. So your message will really help make the session more interactive. So toward the in the end of the event, if you'd like to speak up, you are very welcome to unmute and share a few words. So it doesn't have to be long, even a short comment or impression is more than enough. So let's keep the atmosphere so open and positive as we continue building this global community together. So, how many of you are joining us for the first time today? And if you've been here before, welcome back. So it's really great to see you again. So let me share a little about this community. So we started this group to create a warm, open space where people from all over the world can learn and grow together. So through AWS and the technology, we hope to connect people and spark ideas, even small ones, that might help you take your next step. So we also love welcoming first-time speakers and people who may not have had many chances to share their story before. This is meant to be a safe and friendly space for everyone. So I truly hope you feel that you can learn here, connected with others, and grow together and part of this community. And we also have a Discord, so feel free to use it as a space to keep the conversation going. You're welcome to join it and use it anytime after the meetup. So here's a quick look at what's coming up next. So please take a look at the dates, and we'd love to see you again next month and in the months ahead as well. So, and if you are interested in being a speaker, please feel free to reach out anytime. So we are always happy to welcome new voices and new stories. And we truly hope you'll continue joining us and help keep this community active and full of energy. And we host this meetup every month. So we hope you're joining us again in the future. And if you ever feel like giving a talk, please don't cite to reach out. And we are always happy to welcome new speakers. Sorry. So whenever you feel ready, just let us know. So we'd truly love to hear your story. And in January, we are kicking off a special 24-hour global rally event. People from around the world will be sharing their stories one after another across different time zones. We'd love for you to join us and be part of this truly global experience. So, let's keep building this community together. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to our first speaker. Each session will run for about around 20 minutes. Please feel free to share your thoughts or question in the chat at any time. We love to keep the conversation going. Okay, so let's welcome our first speaker. Daniel, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. It's clearly.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, okay, sure. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Oh, okay, sure. Very much. Hi
All right.
everyone. Hi everyone. Actually, it's my first time being here, and I really, even though I've been watching um YouTube videos, it's really amazing, and I'm really happy and fortunate to be here also sharing my story. And yeah, so basically today what we're going to be talking about, it's something that is really dear to my heart, and it's about innovating against blackmail, building a sustainable or secure future on AWS. So we'll be narrowing it down to sextortion, which is a worrying alarm in Ghana. Not really big, but it's under the hood trying to make something out of the young adult in Ghana. So it's just a little bit about me. I'm a cloud solution engineer for a consulting company in Ghana, and also a community builder in serverless. And apart from that, I also, outside tech, I also am an independent academic researcher, so write articles, papers, but mostly relating to tech. And one thing I like about myself is more or less making the world a happy place. Okay, even the world can't be fully a happy place, but it's my wish to make the world a happy place. Yeah. So at the core of every sextortion being raised, there is a will to help, or as a call of every black male being raised within the Ghanaian community, there's a call being raised. So at every point in time, somebody would need a particular help in order to do what? In order to um, get rid of the bad guys or be able to redeem themselves from the evil attacks from the hackers or maybe the people who would cause harm to the victim. And I'm here to help. Well, I'm the solution to help. I'm building on top of that with AWS solution. So we're going through sextortion, the issues on it, how AI in regards to AWS can help us in that direction, and also features and also a use case. So a use case will just be my little architecture of how the system works. So what is extortion? So basically, sextortion is a serious online exploitation where the youths or the young underage are being targeted and are being exploited. So this cause trauma to the youth, to the young adults, or even cause harm. They can kill themselves or maybe do something bad to themselves. And this has been under the hood for a number of years. But it's a time that there's a rightful solution to able to remediate that. So what are some of the issues regarding sextortion? So basically, if I'm the person, let me set an example here. If I'm the person trying to maybe um, social engineer the young adult to share explicit video with their video or pictures with me to blackmail them at the end of it all, I would present myself to be like the cats. Okay. So, okay, you did a good thing. Okay. So trying to make sure that they are comfortable in that space for you to exploit them or play with their minds very well. And this basically has an effect on their emotional and psychological effect, harm or trauma to the young adult, and that is a bad thing, and that harms our society in that regard. And we wouldn't want a society full of people who are very emotional or having a negative psychological effects on issues pertaining to themselves. And also, in regard to this, it's not only the individual having that, let's say, that shame or feeling that pain or having to carry that burden, but the burden is shared across the world in a sense that when, let's say, an individual, a young adult, let's say age of 12, images are being shared, especially images are being shared online, it does damage to not only herself, but to her family, her friends, indirectly to her church members, and has an effect to the country because obviously more people are being, more youth or more adults are being exposed wrongly in that direction and has an effect on the country at large. So what's what are the statistics? So basically, in Ghana, 155 cases was being reported by the Cybersecurity Authority concerning blackmail and being narrowed down to sextortion. And in 2025, currently, it's been increased to 300. Even though they are small numbers, but imagine the growth for the years coming. It's going to be a thing of national issue, and we don't want that to happen. And that is why I developed this application, even though it's still under development, but developed the application to make sure that it addresses those issues. So what can AI do? So basically, what AI would do in this mix is to be able to identify the pattern or the string of the language being used in the conversation with the younger adults. So for example, I am let's say the person who wants to exploit this young adult. Obviously, I'll be sending text message to the person before the person can send me videos or pictures of themselves. What the system does is that it identifies this the conversation and the keywords within the conversation. So it's more or less, let's say maybe the person would tell the young adult that I like that sexy videos of yours. Okay. And what this app would do is that it would underline that sexy video. Okay. So once I'm sending a message to the young adults and the receiving end on the young adult side, it would be that message or that phrase, sexy videos or pictures will be underlined, and a caution will be thrown that be aware of the conversation you're having with this person, or this conversation is not good for your age, and just giving recommendations concerning that particular word which is not good. And for that, it's based on the technology of NLP, so natural language um, processing, to be able to identify all those patterns, all those sentimental analysis in order to do what? In order to protect the young adult from being exploited. And it goes a long way. So within the system, and I'll show you the architecture very soon, it's not only identify those suspicious conversation, but it also classify them. As I said, it would raise an alarm that you're under this age and you don't need to do what? You don't need to be having these conversations. So that is the second bit of it. And this system is going to be a real-time alert to basically guidance. So it's more or less an app, and also an app extension that the parents would have to download on their kid's phone. Okay. So that at every point in time, those conversations, those videos are being shared. All those informations will be sent to their parents to monitor who, not really the person's name, but what kind of conversation my son or daughter is having with maybe somebody online. So across the whole social media platforms, so across Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, just name them. All this information will be monitored and be sent to the parents concerning the activities of the child. And since this is built using for more refinements, it's best we use, even I'm going to the engineering side, is use the SageMaker. But currently what I'm building is using with Bedrock. So have this plugins in there, have this, I wouldn't have to do so many things in order to get myself involved in so many things. So Bedrock is what I'm using currently, and AI would continuously learn, would help the system learn better concerning the new conversation being added and some of the tricks that the individual would have to identify, whether from the kid side or whether from the mom side, and the system learns it's better to protect them from online threats. Okay, so sorry. So I got you back with this app, and even though I've not told you the name of the app, sorry, it's more or less NDA kind of a thing, so I wouldn't want to say it. So we got your back, and it's the features of the app, or what basically going to do is that it's going to automatically blur the video or the the pictures either parties are sending. So if I'm sending to the kids, it will be blurred, or the kids are sending to me to be blurred. It's just more or less based on the same technology, how WhatsApp is doing view ones, or how Snapchat is also doing view ones, or how now Google is doing more or less when you type naked videos, you will see them being blurred, or if you want to unblur them. But the system automatically or default mode blurs the image from either parties. So even though I have your pictures, okay, I would want to send them out to the internet. Okay. Since that app is being installed on the phone, okay, or whatever device you are running on, when it's being sent, it will be blurred. Okay, so people online would see just a blur image, other than seeing a sexy lady with whatever is going on within that picture. And that is the idea about this app in order to do what? In order to protect our young kids from being harassed or extorted online. And also, basically, or the most important thing is that it ensures safe interactions on messaging platforms. So just like what I explained, in terms of it gives you every message being sent, it tells you the the harm around it. Okay, so you send hi, you send hello, all those things are being monitored, and those that are negative would be flagged and would be given why you shouldn't, what's it called, have this conversation with a particular user at a particular point in time. So a little bit of architecture of what the system is all about. So from your device, the both the front and the back end is being built on amplifier. So the app extension is being built on amplifier. And what the system does is that at every point in time, using AWS Tech Function and two lambda, which one basically for images, one for text. So when anything relating to sending text messages will be routed to the lambda responsible for that. Anything relating to pictures, videos will send to the just for scalability and more or less availability in that direction. And when those messages are being sent there, we have the bedrock or the SageMaker if you want to use that, and also the recognition to be able to do what? To handle those images and also those texts. So bedrock would take care of the sentimental analysis and all those text infos, making sure that are being filtered to either give you the reason why you shouldn't have this conversation with the person, or tell you why you should have the reason why you should still continue having conversation with this person, which means that the conversation is good. And recognition would basically scan the images they are sending to the person, will scan the videos they are sending to the person, and detect that so that it will be blocked and blurred. Okay, so this, and just for the purpose of retraining or to make the system better, the images, okay, are being sent to the all the text are being sent to the text are being sent to the storage DynamoDB using DynamoDB, and also the images and the videos are being stored on the S3 bucket for retraining, more retraining, and making sure the system is better. So key takeaways of what this can benefit us is not about protecting the youth online, okay, but it's more or less about empowering individuals to protect themselves online. More or less, some people wouldn't have the knowledge to, let's say I have to block this extension from this particular website, or have to do that or do that, to able to safeguard myself from sextortion. So this app, which is an extension, would take care of those things for you. So it makes sure that when you have them in your system, your mobile phone or your devices, it takes charge or champion the case of sextortion, so that you don't find yourself vulnerable, being depressed, or having psychological trauma in that regard. So thank you very much. And you can connect to me on LinkedIn and also on Twitter and on this link. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much for such a fascinating and thoughtful share. Honestly, this is something we probably would not hear about if we staying only within Japan. So that's what makes sessions like this so meaningful. So personally, I truly believe that believe that thought, technology and community activities like this, we can help build a more equal and peaceful world. So that's why am so committed to this community. And hearing your story really motivated me to keep putting even more energy into what we do. So while listening to you, I was also thinking about similar issues in Japan, so including climates, climates uh, that target elderly people. Your use case really stood out to me. So this is very strong and practical AI use case. So and honestly, it's an important one. As you said, it can feel like a constant cat and mouse game, and we needed to keep up, right? So with all the updates we saw at reInvent, Bedrock, Lambda, SageMaker, and more, it feels like this kind of application will only become stronger and more robust. I'm really excited to
Sure.
see how it evolves. Thank you. So once
Thank
again,
you very much.
Daniel, thank you so much for such an
Thank you very much. Thank
insightful,
you.
yes,
Thank you very much.
inspired share. So now, does anyone have any questions or comments for Daniel?
I got one. Um,
Hey,
can you hear me
Brian.
okay?
Okay,
Hi,
sure.
how are you?
No problem.
You.
So I was just curious if you thought
Yeah, I
about
could hear
how
you.
you
I could hear
will.
you.
Great, great. I'm curious if you thought about, AI is only as good as the data it's trained on.
Yeah.
So you were talking about text messages to like parents. Have you thought about how you will improve your AI and make it more efficient in terms of giving them a feedback mechanism to, for lack of a better way, say that guy was a real creep, you know? Or, actually that guy was harmless, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry I couldn't share the walkthrough of the app itself. I was trying to find, because I did a Figma design concerning that. I was trying to find it in my archive, but I couldn't find it. So there's also, so mostly what is it's supposed to do is that they, in part of the monitoring. Okay, can you hear me? we have an application for it, like let's say a WhatsApp app or any app that you have. And those app, all those recommendations are being sent to the parent. So because we assume that kids from age, let's say 9 to let's say 12 or 13 or 15 wouldn't have or wouldn't know that's big issues on the internet, even though they take pictures with their kids, sorry, with their parents or their friends, but they wouldn't know how big the conversation with maybe the bad guys could influence their life, no, not now, but in the future. So all those feedbacks and all those things will be sent on the app to the parent in order to do what? In order to maybe caution their children concerning what they are doing. So that is why I said it's an app and an extension. So the app would be on the other end where the parents will monitor them, and the extension would be added to the kids' phone. So if that answered your question, if that answered the question, are you okay? Hello, Brian. Oh, okay, sure.
Thank
Any
you.
other question?
Okay. Thank you, Brian, and thank you again, Danielle. Thank you.
I think okay. Let me say this. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
I think in order to clarify the kind of data we are looking for, because it is AI, you have to get much data and all those things. The mechanism we are trying to work with, or how the app works, it's basically on identifying. First of all, it's basically trying a bunch of explicit words. Okay, you can find online. Okay, and the second of it, which deals with the retraining, would try to monitor all those conversations you're having with the person at a particular point in time. So let's say it takes all your conversation and try to see if it can find a new word in a database which is for explicit what's it called, conversation, and use that in the retraining to get better at every point in time in that direction. So just to clarify that, if somebody had that in their mind or want to know more.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Nice. All right. So let's move on to our next speaker. Kevin, are you ready?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know whether my video if it is valid or not. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Am I
great.
audible?
Great.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me get right into it. Thank you so much, Daniel. It's very, very inspiring. Usually see a lot of extortion happening, and I can't wait to see when you get the full application done, and I can't wait to see what you're about there. So let's get right on to it. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay. Kevin, so I'm sorry. So could you speak a little louder, please?
Okay. Let me see if I can also switch my audio.
That's
Maybe
great.
start with a bit. Okay. Yeah, is it better now?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. So let me get right to slideshow mode. So as you heard, my name is Kevin Chuli, and today's AWS Global Community Gatherings, I'm going to be sharing lessons from 1 year of leading the AWS AIML user group Kenya, which started just in February this year, and we've grown from one member, that was me, 5 leaders, to over 600 members by the end, as of now on Meetup and even across our socials. So we're going to hear more about how we were able to achieve that within a very short time. So But before I get right onto it, as well as a tradition, I'd like us to start with an icebreaker. And I'd like to get to know from you, would you rather have $1 million today or $100,000 per year for 10 years? I was very envious of the road to reinvent winners who won $100,000 during reinvent this year. But I want to know from you. Please put it in the chat and get to want to see from Brian is saying $1 million today. So decide to go. Yes, tax free. It's actually tax free. So which one would you? There's pros and cons to it, definitely. Victor is saying 100K. Definitely. Maybe for those who are cautious about the money. Remember, it's already holiday season, and people will be spending a lot. Then January they'll be very broke, right? $1 billion invested, get 200,000 dividends every year. I would like to know what investment you're going to do. Hopefully, it's not going to be a shadow crypto. So it's not going to be a shadow crypto that is going to collapse even before it reaches 2 years. Very risky. So you are getting to know the risky one, those who take risks, and those who are risk averse. Anyways, one more icebreaker for those who are, when they hear money, they get scared. If you had to teach a class or even give a TED talk or be in the next AWS Global Community Gathering, and give a TED talk. A TED talk has to be not more than 15 minutes. What would it be about? And please give the most funny thing. Don't give us the technical things. Don't be Daniel. Daniel is giving us the technical things here today. But give us the most weird talk to tell us about. What would you talk about? Moad, Bran, Jacob, David. What did you talk about? What did you talk about? Quantum computing. Jacob, I was following up reInvent Rika because you're going to be having it. And I'm seeing AWS do a lot of post-quantum cryptography being set up upon it. I don't know whether you want to break up the current encryption systems. Brian says don't do comedy, but anything I do, I'd be doing that over programming. Amazon Leo satellites. Wow, yes, exactly. Because right now, we're using satellite is changing the game from internet connectivity, inclusivity. I love the fact that AWS Global Community Gathering is all about borderless. And I think satellites are borderless. It is not in any person's airspace. It is doing a lot. Starlink are doing crazy things. David is going to do the usual things. Introduction to cloud computing, right? Society effect on technology. That is. I can see, Daniel, you're a social, like you want to do social impact using pounds. Convince people energy drink is actually good. Actually, there was a time I was addicted to Red Bull. I couldn't survive with it. Then now when I realized about this, the effects, it's going to be crazy. Anyways, thank you so much for the interactions in the chat. Really, really love that. So I'm not going to give you all these, but this is the reason why you should speak, you should listen to me. I have 7 years of industry experience, 3 of them in cloud and AI. I'm not in the cloud and AI space for long. I also work as a consultant. I was doing development, and I loved architecture the more, so I've stopped doing much of development. I do a lot of working with customers, transforming business requirements into technical use cases and everything. I'm also a board member within SolarBeast Technologies, which is bringing EdTech into Africa. I also train. I usually don't like saying I'm a lecturer, so I just say I'm an educator. Others say professor, but I do all that. And as you can see, everything from there, I think 7 bullet points are all about community. So I'll just bundle them down into community. I currently have 6 AWS certifications. I also lead a couple of communities like the Atlassian community, HashiCorp user group, Amiru, Nairobi DevOps community, and most importantly, the reason why I'm speaking to you today, which is the AWS AIML User Group Kenya, which we started out this year. So, as Steve Jobs always says, that great things are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. But it is easier said than done. Easier said than done. Because with a team of people, sometimes you never know who is you never know who is there for you, who is garnering for you, or just killing it out for you. And working with a team can be crazy because, especially when Hiromi can tell you, is AWS Global Community Gatherings, no one is paying her to run it. And when you're dealing with a team of volunteers, they are not indebted to you. They are not collecting a salary or a remuneration out of you at the end of the month. But sometimes you have to do it. You have to do it. And that is why when I went to reInvent, Hiromi, congratulations. I was envious of everyone who went to reInvent 2025. I was there last year in 2024, and it felt like time travel, especially if you're coming from a subtle country in the east part of sub-Saharan Africa, in Kenya. It felt like time travel, especially in the terms of innovations, the things that are happening in the AI/ML space. And I felt like in the whole of Africa, there was no AI/ML specialized user group. There are a couple of others in Japan. I had an opportunity to speak in the Japan AWS Pancreation last year, and that was one of the most fascinating experience for me because it elevated my aspect around community. So how did we decide to come up with the third AWS user group here in Kenya? Yet no one could have thought, hey, you guys, you have a chance, you have a shot at this. So a little bit about us. This is what we stand off. We are a community of cloud enthusiasts, anyone starting out in cloud, anyone in ML, data science, AI, innovating, and seeing how we can use AWS technologies in the AI/ML field. Our tagline goes, transforming ideas into impact with AWS AI/ML solutions. We were launched, as I've told you earlier, February this year, and we are currently having a membership of, I think this number is already up 610 so far, but over 600. And how did we scale it? This is the kind of leadership. These are the people who, I can say, my inner circle for this user group. We have we have myself there, definitely. I love that picture because I took it as part of reInvent. Then Rachel is the head of graphics. Sherry, anything social media, she's the one. Mishek is looking at anything content. Julie is the hiring manager for all volunteers. We hire people who we don't pay. Then Jacob is the logistics lead. Anything around the logistics, he's the one. And why did I talk about the team? It's very important because there are some lessons that we learned. I'm going to share some very few lessons so that I can get to the point and get to hear from more of us. The one thing that I learned is you have to do it scared. I was so scared. First of all, going through the whole process, you have to convince your community manager that, hey, it is worth starting another user group here. And the fact that we are starting a user group that is away from Nairobi, quite far from the technological hub of Kenya. And there was the idea of like, will you get members? How will things pan out? How will it really go out? Will people buy into the vision? But one thing I learned is you just need to do it scared. I gathered a team and I brought the vision to them and they said, what you're going to do this year, organize at least one physical event every month, gather momentum and see where it takes us. The second lesson is we needed to get and make people feel involved. I learned a lot from this. And it's one thing to get people together. It's another thing to make them feel involved. By making them feel involved, it means that you have to do something. And what do? You have to make sure that they have a sense of ownership in what they are doing for the community, both for the community, and they should also see how it ties to their career. And that is why I told you a sense of ownership. And I have a couple of my volunteers who have joined this session. I love that. I can see Mwad, I can see Crispina's David, who joined this session when I shared it in our community WhatsApp group. And it tells you that they feel a sense of ownership when it comes to what they do. And because I, as a leader, I'm not the kind of person I give you an opportunity and then I start micromanaging you. Nope. You run with it. If you're going to run with the website, do the website. If you're going to run with the technical content, run with it. Social media, run with it. That is what I learned, that if you create a sense of ownership, then definitely you should also have a great sense of empathy. Why? Because somewhere, somehow, a volunteer can ghost you. They are supposed to do something 1 week down the line, they don't do it. Or you try to organize a meeting, you find you yourself and maybe a couple of leaders, and yet the agenda of the meeting is not involving the people who have joined. But you have to have a great sense of empathy with people, have a great sense of empathy with your members, and also have a great sense of empathy to yourself as the leader. Because sometimes you might push yourself too hard to a point where you now start questioning where your identity and your worth in a user. And the last lesson that I learned over this whole year is every morning I was doing a journal reflection and I made a commitment to add what am I learning from this journey of leading this user group. And what it taught me was this, that when you journal, it clears your mind. It's like emptying your mind to have clarity of thoughts. I don't know how many of you do it, whether you're doing it in the evening or in the morning. You can let me know in the chat whether you do a journal reflection of the journey that you're taking, whether it's personal or in a community, but it made me learn a lot along the way and also made me know that I should really not be hard on myself. There's another article that I have on builders.aws, the Builder Center on 1, 2, 3 to building a thriving cloud community. It is also the one that I shared across the whole of last year, gave me an opportunity to also go to reinvent because it showed a lot of my love for community. I share a couple of things at an individual level, like building in public, contributing to open source, and also auditing the communities that you join. You can scan the QR code. I'll also share the links in the chat once I'm done with my talk. Again, we also have a link tree to our community. You can get to scan. I'll also definitely share the link to it in the chat right after this. That is our link tree. It has our meetup, anything. If you are a WhatsApp person, you can get into that. And yeah, definitely, this is my priority. I got it thanks to Japan AWS user group. And they told me I was the first Kenyan to speak at a Japan event. And then they were sending out swags. They never thought it can get to Kenya. Maybe they're not sure about the shipping, but it actually got here. So I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, Hiromi. Thanks so much, AWS Global Community Gatherings. And definitely open it up for any questions that you may be having. Thank you.
Kevin, thank you so much. You're wonderful sharing. So I also really enjoyed your icebreaker. It was great. So funny. So I've started a few communities myself. So I really relate to your passion, your thoughts, and your mindset. Right. So Africa is growing very fast economically. So, and I feel that technology communities like yours will become even more important in that context, right? So, community work like this also helps us a lot in our professional lives. So, the value of running community is totally huge, right? So honestly, your talk made me really want to visit Kenya. So I'd love to join your community someday. I hope. So now, does anyone have any comments or question for Kevin? Think? Okay, thank you again, Kevin. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to next speaker. So, Jacob, are you ready?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very
Perfect.
good.
Let me try to share something. Um, all right,
Nice.
perfect. Hello, my name is Jakob Guy. I'm based in Copenhagen, Denmark, and I work for Danske Bank nowadays. And I'm a community builder, so I'm quite active here in Europe. Events, I would say this is my first online event, so thank you for inviting me. Today I wanted to talk about functionless, which is yeah. Well, let's see what it is. So I'm pretty sure many of you are quite familiar with the well-architected framework from AWS, and this is kind of a list of best practices from AWS, how to build solutions on AWS. And of course, they have some different lenses focusing on different bits, and one of them is well-architected. Sorry, serverless applications lens. And I found this interesting quote in the documentation that you should really consider if your Lambda functions are really necessary if they don't perform any custom logic and yeah, if you can replace them basically. But so what is kind of functionless? So that kind of inspired me to kind of figure out if I can build any sort of serverless applications without Lambda functions, which was not possible in the past. And I've been working with AWS for like more than 10 years. And yep, so functionless is sort of doesn't exist really as a term, as serverless didn't exist some time ago. It's a sort of architecture, serverless architecture emphasizing direct integration between different AWS services or cloud services in general, without any custom functions. And basically, if your Lambda function doesn't transform any data and only transport the data, then basically your Lambda can be may not be necessary at all. So key characteristic of this model basically is based on managed services, so they play a central role, and the services are being invoked by different events. So it's a very event-driven architecture, and also any interaction between the services and also any interaction between the services can be orchestrated with step functions and so visual machines, visual state machine. I'm sorry, but I just can't see anything on this Zoom thing. Sorry. So yeah, there are a couple of managed services, some of the core services which you can use for this model, namely Event Bridge and step functions, and also API services like AppSync or API Gateway, which also offer a lot of integrations between different services. So step functions can support any API call on AWS. So basically from Amazon State Language, you can call any API call as you can do from Lambda runtime using both of 3 libraries and so on. And Event Bridge also supports multiple targets to trigger different services. But yeah, just coming back to Lambda, basically this is a service which we all love and use and abuse. And it's an amazing service and has been introduced about 11 years ago. And serverless term didn't even exist at that time. So Lambda and SQS, SNS, and S3 just kind of formed this base services for serverless. And AWS introduced a completely new billing model, gave us a lot of free requests. So almost 1 million requests for new accounts. Netflix is one of the first adopters. They were using that for media transcoding jobs. And it simply become this kind of gluing mechanism between different AWS services back in the day. So, different services were sort of an islands, and you had to build a boat to get from one to another. This is not the case anymore. So we can use service integrations directly. So some of the advantages of Lambda functions pretty obvious, right? So very scalable system, very cost efficient. It's quite cheap to run it and quite easy to deploy your code. And of course, you don't have to manage any service. So it's completely managed service for you, and it auto scales automatically. Some of the disadvantages of the Lambda functions and also mitigations, which AWS gives us as an option to deal with this. So cold start latency is this time when the Lambda function is provisioned and for the very first time or hasn't been used in a while, it has to start, and there's a milliseconds of delay before it gets warmed up. But of course, we can do provisioned concurrency. So that's an option to kind of have a warm lambdas for extra cost. Execution time limit, it's something which we cannot really change. It's a 15 minutes hard limit, and to be honest, if your lambda is taking longer than 15 minutes, that something is wrong with the lambda. So you have to look into parallel processing or partition your data and then process it in parallel. Or you can move to like ECS tasks, for example. Limited debugging. So we don't have access to the runtime itself, but whatever log we produce inside our runtime, we can gather and collect and aggregate, and we can also use some libraries like Power Tools for Lambda to get some structured logging. External libraries. If you need to deploy anything extra, then you have to bundle it in and package it, and especially in ecosystems like NPM. That's quite a hectic process. So there are certain infrastructure as code frameworks like SAM or CDK, which deal with this pretty well. All right, so to modernize your serverless applications, and then I mean, identifying those monolithic functions, the fat lambdas, which we all have built somewhere in the past, and they're probably running in production right now, and then they're doing their job. But those are the lambda functions which we build and then add extra functionality to it and extra libraries, extra logic, and it just become bigger and bigger. Instead of splitting it into smaller functions, we just add extra bits to it. So the first step would be to kind of identify those functions if you still have them, and plan to not use those kind of big monolithic functions, and just split them into smaller task-oriented Lambda functions and kind of form a serverless application in microservice style, which then can be orchestrated with events or Lambda destinations or DynamoDB streams, other things to trigger the Lambda functions. And also they can be also orchestrated using state machines like step functions. And when you start eliminating certain functions because you figure out you actually don't need them, or you can move the logic from some of the Lambda functions into the workflow logic. At some point, you can get rid of almost all Lambda functions. That it's not a point to completely remove them, but you might end up with completely functionless application where none of the Lambda functions are actually required. And I do have a, sorry. I do have an example of such application, which I don't have time to demo it now, but I can share some GitHub repos. You can deploy it yourself and play around. So it's basically like a telegraph simulator running across two regions and basically sending events between two regions, and two state machines are handling those those events, certain logic, doing certain calculations, and storing the output in a global DynamoDB table, so both state machines can actually talk to the same data items. And also I interact with different services like parameter store, secrets manager, translate directly from the state machine without the Lambda function. This is how it looks like on architectural diagram. As you can see, just one account, two regions, two state machines, two event buses, one table, and a couple of supporting services. Absolutely no Lambda functions. How does it work? So there's a state machine. This is a visualization of the state machine, which does a couple of computations, namely validates certain input fields from the event and does certain calculations. So I'm calculating price of the telegram. So it's artificial price basically, based on certain tiers like standard, express, and so on, and number of words. This is how the telegrams used to be charged back in the days. And I'm translating this using translator service into French because my counterpart colleague in Paris is speaking French. And then I'm saving this in a DynamoDB table, and I'm sending an event to a local bus, and that local bus passes it to another bus in another region, which then triggers the second state machine. And the second state machine has some conditions. So Alice is only interested in private correspondence, like she's queuing the business correspondence into SQSQ, and then changes the status of the message and updates the content with some emojis, and basically sends another event to a local bus, which I use for logging, so I can produce dashboard like this. So I can catch all the events happening inside my application on both regions, and basically I can visualize them and query them using CloudWatch logs insights. All right, so there are some gotchas to this functionless model, and I stuck when building this application. I stuck very often, and I wanted to switch to Lambda basically. But to prove my point, I had to make it work. Some of them, there's some limitations for the ASL. ASL stands for Amazon State Language, which is this language you build the state machines in. It's kind of JSON or YAML based, but also you have a visual editors. There's also a plugin for Visual Studio, so you can do that locally and build it in like a low code way. Recently, AWS added a JSON data transformation, which is I'm using this in this application actually. But for example, there are no cross-region orchestration, right? So I can't create a state machine which spans across regions or accounts. Also, some external libraries like DynamoDB, marshalling libraries, or RDS clients, they are not supported by SL. So if you want to do some more sophisticated data storage like RDS database, then you probably need a Lambda function and a runtime to run those libraries, right, inside Lambda function or a layer. And also for pricing, if your workload becomes quite big and complex and the logic becomes quite sophisticated, I would say, standard workflows are getting charged per state transition. So the boxes I showed you on a diagram, those are states, and the transition between them, this is something you get charged for. And if your application becomes really, really big, then your logic could be your logic could be actually cheaper if you keep it inside the Lambda function. So the whole solution could be a bit cheaper. If the price is not a constant, then of course you have this a visual representation of the logic, which is quite useful for building like a POCs when speaking to less technical stuff to explain the business process. All right, and some of the key takeaways I really would like you to take from this is not to completely remove the Lambda functions because it might not be feasible for your solution, especially in like enterprise environments. You have to run compute inside VPCs and so on. But just to follow certain principles of serverless application design, which are based on AWS well-architected framework in a serverless applications lens. Build a single purpose function. So build a short single tasked functions which are very compact and designed to do specific job only. For example, one Lambda function will interact with DynamoDB table, the other one with S3 buckets, or one Lambda will only do writes to different persistent storage. The other one will be doing the reads. Then you can orchestrate those state machines, orchestrate those functions using state machines, not necessary functions. With the new durable functions, you could also replace some of the logic from the state machine and keep it in a durable function. I haven't played with this yet, but it's super promising and could be probably used in a collaboration with the state machines or the step functions. And use AWS SDK integrations if you can, instead of you can talk directly to DynamoDB from your state machine instead of Lambda function. And of course, use events if you can, and use them for like triggering asynchronous processing, and also make sure to design for duplicates of the events and also for failures. So EventBridge gives you option to use archive and replace to kind of reproduce the same events again. So those are the core principles of building a serverless applications. Not necessarily absolutely functionless, but the idea is just to reduce number of functions and replace them with the SDK integrations from state machines, for example. And if you're interested in seeing this application, then those are the links. I will share them in a chat in a second. I also was writing some blog posts on a AWS Builder Center. So if you want to explore this concept a bit more, then I'll be sharing in a second all the links. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your great share. Thank you so much. So I really love it, especially because I'm a big fan of serverless. So these days, we see serverless architectures and approach is used in many different contexts, and more services are being built this way. So it really feels like a great time. And in the age of AI, we are seeing even more integrations like this, so which makes it even more exciting. And personally, your talk also reminded me that I needed to revisit my own architectures to keep things clean, simple, efficient. Sorry. So and we'll optimize it. And so, does any have any question or comments for Jacob? Nothing. Okay. Thank you again, Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. So, by the way, I'm visiting Northern Europe for the second time at the end of this year. So, and I'm really already a little nervous about how cold it will be, right? So, let's invite our final speaker, Axel. Are you ready? Axel?
Hi everyone, how are you?
Go, hello then.
Well, nice to be here with all of you. It's been some incredible speakers, so I hope to be uh, in line with all the great talks that have already been here. Sorry for my poor English. Sometimes it's a little bit rusty. Um, but I will share my screen so we can start with the presentation.
Mm.
I have to say that my native language is Spanish and my jokes are in Spanish are bad, so in English will be worse, but I will appreciate if you just also laugh a little bit, just not to feel so bad with my bad jokes.
Me too.
Well, okay, I have my video off, so I'm gonna turn it on. There it is. Hi everyone. Uh, thanks,
Hola.
Jacob. Great Spanish. Thanks for the laughs in Spanish also. I appreciate it. Well, I will share my screen. There it is. Well, today I'm bringing Amazon Q as the topic for the talk. Most of us will be familiar with this, but it's a good topic to bring here if someone is a little bit not updated with everything that's going on around there. I left the title in Spanish because it has the AI in the title. It was difficult to turn it in English. That let's say joke. Okay, so what we're going to see here today, it's just for topics. What is Amazon Q? Its powers, and how can we use it uh, to have extra development powers, and two resources that are very useful to put our hands in work. Um, First of all, Amazon Q, most of us know that it's an assistant that is empowered by Gen AI, and we are in this race to transform the way we work, right? With agents, with copilots, with assistants. And specifically with Amazon Q, we have like two flavors. Let's say Amazon Q Business and Amazon Q Developer. The first one is mostly guided to people, as the name says, to business people, to create, for example, dashboards, to be able to have like assistance to create and understanding dashboards, for example. And on the other hand, we have the Amazon Q developer. That's the one we are digging in this talk. An Amazon Q developer, as we said before, it's empowered by Gen AI. It works with our tools, our environments, to give us like a conversational experience, and have this assistant that help us and guide us through our work, through our technical work in different environments. We can use it in the Amazon applications, in the IDE, and in the collect, right? So we can use it, for example, while we are in our administrator panel, when we are looking at the resources we have, we can ask questions. What do we have in this resource group? What we have in our bill? How we can enhance different services. And something that help us also through our development cycle, and it's not very common, let's say mostly, um, we can ask for a development plan, right? Mostly we jump directly into the coding part, but we can use this assistant, we can use Amazon Q to create a development plan, or also we can create one and ask for recommendations about our plan. There's also something extra here about the development planning and how to create the best code. It's called spec kit. Is to do spec development, spec-driven development. It's a way to work with these assistants to create code based in specification that will be versioned along the code. So it's a good thing to investigate. It can be useful. I can share the resources also if you want. Also, well, these kind of assistants help us with the creation, optimization, and transformation of the code. Personally, it's been very useful to update Java versions. Uh, it usually took us in the team a lot of time, and with the help of Amazon Q, we have reduced a lot our times for transforming code. Also, code analysis, documenting code, that's the most boring part. We don't like anyone in any region, in any country. We don't like documenting code. Here in Argentina, also, we don't like documenting. It's necessary though, but it's the most boring part. It's like when you are grounded, I think it's the word. It's go and document your code. It's like when you were a child and our parents said, go to your bedroom, you're grounded. Okay, go document your code. It's something like that. So Amazon Q can help us with that also. And cloud support, as we said, it's the best partner in crime to make the support and troubleshooting with everything related to cloud. So we have just here in this image like the whole software life cycle and how Amazon Q can help us in each step of the process, right? From review to understand to monitor and test, transforming code. We have in each step something particular that can help us through the process. So we have a little demo example, a very little one. This is about creating um, a little application. We go there in the IDE. Here particularly, I'm using Visual Studio, but we can use also Hero or something else. And in this case, for example, I'm gonna ask our friend Amazon Q to help us develop this Python application. It's very important to say hello to Amazon Q, and I ask to make me look like a cool developer with all of you, and it helped me really. Uh, so here it's like a little weather application. It's pretty known this project. At the end, I will share like the QR code to play with this project. But the thing is that I'm giving like a very brief prompt asking to create this weather application with just an API call. Uh, and we will see that with just like this little prompt that it's poorly written, um, it will create us this application uh, documented, well organized. So we don't have to start from scratch. That's a very useful thing for us because sometimes it's difficult to start from scratch. Sometimes we tend to use for example some libraries open source that we don't match. Maybe it's a little shady. So here it's helping in first place with the plan and the application creation. It's already working. We can see how it starts saying, well, I'm writing in these files. The key features are these ones. This is how you have to run the application. So not only give us the code itself, but also um, the documentation, the specification, how it developed the application and how to start using it, right? So we have like a little glance here to the code. It's pretty simple. There it says Amazon Q knows me a little bit, so uh, knows that I'm not the brightest developer. So he said, here's the API key. Here goes the API key. Please put it here so you don't break what I have developed. But the important thing is that thing that not also creates the code, but gives us the guidance then to continue the work by ourselves. And another thing that I've done because I know that, as I said before, I'm not the brightest developer. Please, let's keep the secret here. But sometimes I leave a couple of sensitive information in the code. So first of all, we see that the application is running smoothly without any change in this case. But as I said before, sometimes I leave sensitive information in the code. So I asked Amazon Q to help me understand if I was doing something wrong here. So using the /review functionality, I told him to check this code. I was sure I was doing everything right, but just to check. But for my surprise, uh, and for the surprise of everyone, I imagine, uh, Amazon Q found a couple of things here, uh, little ones, not very critical, I believe. But after reviewing this file, as I asked, Amazon Q will give me the results of his analysis. Um, I don't know. He says that I have a critical issue. I have hard-coded credentials. I don't know if it's uh, so critical. I don't know what you think, but um, it gives us the results. It's prioritized and it's classified in critical, high, medium, low, or just code smell, but also give us the examples of how we can fix the issues we have. Um, Also, if we want, he makes the corrections and says how we have to manage our our keys, our secrets, passwords, and that kind of sensitive information. So that's the other thing. It's pretty useful for our work. Maybe we don't have to wait to moving on in the process of development or launching a pipeline to know we have this, we can do it for ourselves in our environment. So it's a good thing to um, send code or merge code without this kind of bad practices, right? Um, just to wrap up, I have two QR codes. One is this weather application workshop. It's related to the weather application we have seen right before, but this is obviously larger. It has more steps and a couple of things to practice and play. And the other QR is another workshops from different levels that we can explore and play using Amazon Q. So that's everything for today. That's the thing I wanted to share. I hope you are already using Amazon Q, but if that's not the case, this is a starting point. We can talk anytime. There's my QR to scan and reach me in any social network. We can keep talking about this, about something else, or probably if anyone wants, uh, do something together. Uh, it's always good to get to know new people in the community, work together, create more relationships in near and long distance relationships to keep growing this beautiful community. So thanks everyone for this space, and it's been incredible to be here with all of you. And thanks, Hiromi, for the invitation.
Thank you, Axel. Thank you so much for your wonderful sharing. So, by the way, I'm actually studying Spanish as well. So, that was a fun connection for me. So, as
Anytime.
for as for me, I'm currently working on changing our team's development process, starting with frontier agents. So we are also designing a way to standardize and AI driven development processes. So the expansion of the Amazon Q family so has really brought a big change for us, right? So it's incredibly so powerful resource. So watching your demo also reminded me how important prompt knowledge is. Right. So thank you again, Access, so for such a insightful talk. So now does anyone have any comments or question?
Hey, Brian again. Um, so Alex, at reInvent, Amazon announced a bunch of new things they call frontier agents, Kiro, autonomous agent, DevOps agent. And I don't think AWS is going to be the only one rolling out. Okay, here's another AI agent. So, okay, you've got Q and it's really helpful. How do you weigh? I mean, some things are just going to change, right? Like Q, of course, it's going to update over time and you're not going to have a choice. But how how are you thinking about how you're going to handle so many new tools and ways of doing things flying at you?
I hope I have an answer for that. Uh, there's a meme going around with the uh, keep following the uh, AI updates with all the here. It's pretty hard to keep up. I think th- these places like this one is very useful because obviously we don't have the time to investigate them all, to practice with all. So attending this kind of gatherings, it's really cool because we can see in action some things we haven't seen, we haven't tested. So maybe with the help of someone in the community, you say, okay, this it looks good for me, for my needs, I will try. And something you had it in your list, you see it and say, this one's not so suitable for me, so I cross it. That's one thing. Um, then I'm still trying to figure it out how to keep up, really. So I'm doing that really. That's the main thing that brought me here in this gathering. Also, I wanted to check with people from around the globe what's doing, what's telling. LinkedIn is a good place too. Um, and then just try the best thing I can say is not so technically speaking, but um, with ourselves not to pressure us a lot because sometimes we feel that we have to put to the test everything. We have to use all tools, be experts in every tool, in every AI, and that's not really necessary. So not put us ourselves in so much pressure and stress, and try to go in our rhythm. And when we don't know something, we haven't tested, just raise our hands and say, hey, has someone uh, used it? I need a hand, a little help, and do that. That's the best advice I can give based in my experience.
Someone in the chat asked what the Mundo C is behind you.
Oh, okay. I'm a DevOps instructor in a course. It's called Mundos E or E-words because of electronic words. It's a DevOps course I'm instructor.
Nice.
And also send a hug to your cat, Ryan. Very nice. I
All
have my
right.
dog here, but it's sleeping.
Okay, that's how I see it. So the right choice really depends on the development process, right?
Yeah, totally. Yes.
So, any comments or questions, Waxit?
Uh, that's what I tried to explain recently. I'm an instructor in a DevOps course, and the company it's called Mundos E, that in Spanish means e-worlds for electronic worlds. Uh, it's that.
All right. Other question? Nothing. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you. So, muchas gracias.
A todos ustedes, muchas gracias.
Gracias. Okay. Okay, once again, let's give our speakers a big round of applause. Thank you so much. So, with that, we'll move into our closing. So, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us today. And a special thank you to everyone who stayed until the very end. I truly appreciate. So before we wrap up, I'd like to say a huge thank to all of our speakers and your stories, ideas, and perspectives were truly inspiring, and we learned so much from each of you. So thank you for sharing your time, energy, and passion with us. So before we close, feel free to drop your social links in the chat so we can stay connected even after today's session. So, and if you enjoyed this meetup, please feel free to share it with your AWS friends. We'd love to welcome even more people next time. So, as we are getting close to the end of the year, I'll also like to say Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and thank you all for being part of the community. Throughout the year. I'm truly grateful for all the connections, conversations, and the new faces we've had the chances to meet. Next year, we'll keep growing, learning, and building, of course, fun. This our community together and even stronger than before. So thank you so much for your connected support. I wish you a wonderful holiday season and a great start the new year. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again and our next meetup. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Hiromi.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.